ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः। ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। So we were looking at the topic Brahmanaha Siddhrupatva Upapattih. As a continuation of that topic, this Chaitanya or Chid Swarupa is Swayam Prakasha. Here Ramanuja actually differs, you can say. So now that is taken up for discussion here. Chaitanyasya Swayam Prakashatva-Upapattih. So Chaitanya alone is Swayam Prakasha, and that is proper. Tatra rAmAnuja-Mata-khandanam. And with reference to that, what Ramanuja has said, which actually is divergent, I would say. We are now condemning that or negating that. So here what Ramanuja says with reference to that is first said here, Atra aha Ramanujaha. So Ramanuja with reference to the svaprakAshatva of Chaitanya, what Ramanuja has said, Anubhutehe Swayam Prakashatvam Yaduktam Tad Vishaya Prakashana Velayam Yatuhu Atmanaha Tathaiva Tathayeva. Okay. See, Anubhutehe means experience you can take. Now, by experience or Anubhutihi, they are only talking about the Vritti Jnana here. So, this any Anubhuti is there. Like I said, there are two things are there. One is I know is also there. Correct? That object is also known. I know this object, like that also it is known. Now, this I know this object is what they are calling as Swayam Prakashatvam, because it does not depend upon anything else, or that is their argument. So that is the Anubhutehe Swayam Prakashatvam. That the Vishaya is known, and also I know the Vishaya. Like that it is known. Correct? Now to know that Vishaya, and I know that Vishaya, to know the Vishaya you require Pramana, but I know that Vishaya part is Swayam Prakasha, and that happens during when the Vishaya itself is lighted up. Okay, Vishaya Prakashana Velaya. So when the Anubhava is taking place, when the Pramana Vyapara is taking place, itself this Jnatuhu, the knower, has Swayam Prakashatvam, because he also knows that I know this, like that. And that Jnatuhu Atmanaha, it is said, he is the knower, he is the self also, and it is happening only at that time. Tatha eva natu sarvesham sarvada tatha eva iti niyamaha asti. Now this Swayam Prakashatvam is not there always, okay, and in all the places where Jnanam is taking place and all that, Sarvesham, everywhere and always, you cannot say that this Swayam Prakashatva is there. The Swayam Prakashatva is there only when the experience happens. Correct? When a Jnanam takes place, when a cognition takes place, you can say Anubhutihi can be even taken as a cognition here. So Tatha eva niyamaha na asti, he say. So there is no niyama that this Swayam Prakashatvam has to be there everywhere and all the time. And why it is said like that? Para anubhavasya hanopanadi lingaka anumana vishayatva. Also, that is because, see, the Anubhuti is always Jnana Swarupa, it is not Nyeya. This argument only we even previously had, they even brought this Gita Vakya that Nyeyam Yattat Pravakshyami, therefore Brahman becomes Nyeya. Then how can you say that it is only Anubhuti Swarupa always, or Jnana Swarupa, and it never becomes Nyeya, and it is Swayam Prakasha also we say. Right? This is the what Siddhanti is saying. So for this they are saying the Anubhava, Para Anubhava Apratyaksha we say. That is accepted by everybody. What they are experiencing, we don't know exactly. That is only known to each and every person, whoever is undergoing some experience. But that he is experiencing can be inferred. We are saying Hana Upadana means what? So you accept something, you reject something, some activity is happening, correct? Because sentiency itself can be inferred based on the activity of a sentient being, we can say. The sentiency, consciousness itself cannot be objectified and known, but this person is conscious, he is sentient, etc., can be inferred because of a dead body doesn't do anything, correct? So dead body doesn't have any hana, upadana, etc. It cannot give up something or it cannot accept something, reject something, etc. That cannot happen. So there is a certain behavior, activity, based on that we are able to, but we are able to do anumana. Therefore, this para anubhava is, you can say it is not pratyaksha, but it can be inferred. Okay. And also another point also is raising. Therefore, the anubhava becomes anubhavya also. Whatever is anubhava for you can be the anubhavya or something which is, it also becomes a vishaya for somebody else's cognition. And swanubhavasyapi atitasya ajnasisham iti jnana vishayatva darshanachya. Also one's own anubhava. Smriti is there, correct? So I can recollect my own anubhava, like I knew this ajnasisham is past tense, correct? So atitasya ajnasisham means what? Whatever I knew something 20 years back, 50 years back, whatever, depending on your age. So I knew this, or I knew this yesterday, whatever it is. So atita, whatever is already past, I have knowledge of that and I'm able to recollect. And that jnanam itself now becomes a vishaya, correct? Because I know or I knew that is also, that is a jnana vishayatva darshanat they are saying. So jnana itself becomes a vishaya also. Therefore what? Ataha anubhutis chet swataha siddha iti vaktum na shakyate. So this anubhuti is not swataha siddha. Swata siddhatvam is not there because anubhuti also is known by some other person and all that, correct? Another sentient being, consciousness, etc. It is not only swata siddha. Means it is not only self-revealing, it is revealed to other than oneself also. According to them, there are many selves also. We have to understand that. So for for us, it is very difficult to even imagine. Anyway, so what they are saying is for them, each and every sentient being is a consciousness. And so one consciousness can infer the anubhava of another consciousness. In that manner only that anubhava becomes a vishaya, but also the conscious being also can recollect one's own experiences which happened before. That way also it becomes vishaya. Therefore, it is not self-revealing. The experience itself is revealed also, correct? By something else. So, ataha anubhutis swataha siddha iti na vaktum na shakyate. You cannot say that it is swata siddha anubhutehe anubhavyatve ananubhutitvam ityapi duruktam. Okay. Swagata atita anubhavanam paragata anubhavanam cha anubhavyatve ananubhutitva prasangad iti. Okay, the other thing what the Vedantin is saying is what the anubhuti or jnana swarupa itself cannot be objectified, we say. It cannot be experienced as an object. That's why we have Shruti Vakyas also to that effect, which also leads to some other confusion in modern Vedanta. But we have statements like what Brahman itself is aprameya, it is like mano vacham agochara and all that, correct? So the Vedantin is saying anubhutehe anubhavyatve ananubhutitvam iti. So if it is become anubhavya, it will no more be jnana. It is only jnana vishaya. See, that is our argument. Anything which is jnana vishaya is not jnana. In fact, that is also a sadhana I always talk about, correct? Whatever I know is not I, because I is always the knower, or I is of the nature of knowing, we have to say, to be even more correct. I is always of the nature of knowing, because it is Nyapti Swarupa, we say. So if that I becomes Anubhavya, then it is no more Anubhuti Swarupa, is what we are saying. It cannot be Anubhuti Swarupa. That's what he is saying as Anubhutehe Anubhavyatve Sati. If Anubhuti itself becomes a Visaya for somebody else's Anubhava, then it is no more Anubhuti. It is only a Vishaya, correct? Ananubhutitvam ityapi duruktam, he says. So that is not correct. His Advaitins are saying that if Anubhuti becomes Anubhavya, it will become Ananubhuti. It is no more Anubhuti. That is not correct. That is wrong. That is duruktam. That is wrongly said. Why? Because we all see this Swagata Atita Anubhavanam, Paragata Anubhavanam cha Anubhavyatve. So Swagata Atita Anubhava. So one's own past experiences, one is able to make it as a Vishaya. Similarly, somebody else's Anubhava also we can make it as a Vishaya, because we can do Anumana at least. Therefore, these two are Anubhavyatve. These two are Anubhavya. These two are known as Vishaya. Therefore, this Ananubhutitva Prasangad iti. Therefore, because of this only, it will become Ananubhuti. One cannot say, as these things are happening, and then how can you say that it is not there? Okay. So this is their argument. And further what he says, Anubhutitvam nama Vartamanadashayam Swasattaya eva Swashrayam prati Prakashamanatvam iti. So then what do you mean by Anubhutitvam? So what is the meaning of Anubhutitvam actually? This also Ramanuja is saying what? Anubhutitvam nama Vartamanadashayam. Right now, Sattaya eva Swashrayam prati Prakashamanatvam, he is saying. That means what? One is lighting up oneself. Because whenever in the current moment you are cognizing something, you are also not lighting up the object of your cognition, but you are lighting up yourself. Of course, here Tatra Karma Virodha is there, but I don't know how they address that, but they are saying that what he is saying is that in the current moment when a cognition takes place, Swasattaya Swashrayam Prati Prakashamanatva means what? By one's own existence, one is also lighting up oneself as the Ashraya of that Jnanam. Because Jnanam is taking place somewhere, that Ashraya has to be also lighted up. So I am lighting up myself, and I am lighting up others or other Vishayas which are the object of the cognition. That is what is called Anubhutitva. Okay. But that doesn't mean that Anubhutitvam cannot become Anubhavya for somebody else. That is their argument. Okay. So that we are saying that Anubhuti, if it becomes Anubhavya, then it is no more Jnana Swarupa and all that. It is not correct, because it happens all the time. They are saying with reference to your own past experience and your ability to infer somebody else's experiences, etc. Therefore, this is the position of Ramanuja. Then Shruta Prakashikakara comes and adds something more here, because Ramanuja said Vartamana Dashayam, etc. And but Jnana is also Nitya for them. That is the interesting thing. Okay. So they say Jnana is Nitya Dravya. Then how can you have Vartamana Dasha, etc. for that? So he is saying Jnanasya Nitya Dravyattvena Sada Vartamanatvat. So Jnana being a Nitya Dravya, it is always there. Vartamana Dashayam iti padam nirarthakam iti Shanka Apanuttaye. So to address, to remove the doubt that Vartamana Dasha, how can it be there? It is Nirarthaka. Jnana is actually Nitya Dravya. To remove that doubt, what already Ramanuja said, Vishaya Prakashana Velayam iti Uktam. So if you see here, if you go in the beginning, it is said correct. Vishaya Prakashana Velayam, like that here. So this place, Yaduktam, Swayam Prakashatvam Yaduktam, that Vishaya Prakashana Velayam, they said. So the Swayam Prakashatvam itself is only with reference to each and every cognition, that I know myself also and I know the object along with that. That is the Swayam Prakashatvam they are talking about. So that Vartamana Dashaya means Vishaya Prakashana Vela. During the cognition of a particular Vishaya, whenever a Vishaya becomes evident, that is only referred by the Vartamana Dasha. So Vartamana Dasha Shabdena Vishaya Sambandha Prasarasya Vartamanata. So the Vartamanata there is not the Nitya Dravyas, which is Jnana, but it is the Sambandha. Because Jnana being there always is not good enough. And Vishaya being there always also is not good enough. They have to have a Sambandha. Correct? This is what even Nayayika calls, even Pratiksha, Nayayika say that Indriyartha Sannikarsha Janya Jnana. So the Sannikarsha has to be there. They have to come in contact with each other. That is the Sambandha. So the Sambandha happens, whenever the Sambandha happens, that is the Vartamanata which is talked about here. And during that time only, Swa-para Prakashana is happening, correct? You light up yourself, you light up the object also, and therefore cognition takes place. Both the object also is known, and I know that object also is known. No, this is all clean, wonderful. Okay. Now Bellangonda takes up this, and so he says that Ubhayam Ayuktam, both of these are not proper. Okay. So now he is saying, by saying Nitya Dravya only, you have actually Sudarshana himself as negated Ramanuja. He starts like that. So he says, Tata hi Nitya Dravyam Jnanam Anubhavaha iti Shruta Prakashikaya eva Swanubhavasyapi Atitasya iti Swagata Atita Anubhavanam iti cha Ramanuja-Bhashyam Duruktam iti Spashtikritam. So now he's saying, Vellangonda is saying, Sudarshana said Nitya Dravya, Jnanam is Nitya Dravya. Then this, and it is Jnanam, and that Jnanam alone is Anubhava also. Okay, because there cannot be any Anubhava without Jnanam. So by saying this Jnanam Anubhava is Nitya Dravya, Sota Prakashika has negated whatever Ramanuja has said, because Ramanuja is talking about this Swanubhava can be Atita, means in the past, whatever. And also then Swagata Atita Anubhavana, like that he says. One's own past experiences, correct? All this which is referred to in the Ramanuja-Bhashya are not proper. Like that it becomes clear by just saying Jnana is Nitya Dravyam. Why? nahi nityasya vastunaha atitatvam sambhavati. Whatever is nitya cannot have a past and all that, correct? Only anitya vastu can be there only in the past, and right now it is not there and all that you can say. Nitya vastu cannot have any atitatvam. And also yadhi purva kale asid idanim nasti tad vastu khalu uchyate atitamiti. So also he is explaining that because that which was there before and which is not there right now, only that vastu can be called as something which was there. Okay, and it is not there anymore. It is atita. It has gone. Whatever has gone by. But yaditu anubhava vishaya sambandha prasarasya atitatvat anubhavasya atitatvam औपचारिकम इति उच्यते तर्हि प्रदीपस्थानीयं किमिदं नित्यं ज्ञानद्रव्यं प्रभास्थानीयश्च को वा तस्य प्रसरः अंतःकरणं नित्यद्रव्यं ज्ञानात्मकम्. Okay, now once we say this, that by saying nityadravya only, Sudarshana himself has negated Ramanuja. Now their argument is whatever he said in the end anyway. So what he is saying is what? No, jnana is nityadravya, that cannot have any atitatva. What we actually mean by this atitatvam or vartamanatvam and all is only vishaya sambandha prasarasya. Only we are talking about. See, the sambandha between jnana and the vishaya can be, that sambandha happens and it goes away also, correct? Because that's how you keep on knowing different things. So, there is sambandha, whatever sambandha is there, there will be viyoga also. Sanyoga, viyoga happens, then some other sambandha, that's how different things are cognized. So, there can be atitatvam for the anubhava vishaya sambandha. Because jnana has to go and get in contact with the object. And when this jnana is taking place, this experience takes place, and so the anubhava vishaya sambandha prasara, he is saying. Prasara means it is moving and coming into contact with the vishaya. That can have atitatvam, and the anubhavasya atitatvam is only aupacharika. That is only actually meant. But when we say anubhava is in the past and all that, it is only figuratively said. That's why, in fact, I even issued that clarification. Like that, Sudarshana, we have to imagine. He is coming back and saying, now if you say that, then Bellangonda is saying, Tarhi pratipasthaniyam kimidam nityam jnana dravyam. But then what is this jnana dravyam then? You people talk about jnana dravya as like a pradipa, like a lamp, which is shining all the time. But the rays of that lamp also goes somewhere, they are saying. That is the prasara they are talking about. Now, explain to me what do you really mean by this jnana dravyam then, which is like a pradipa, like a lamp. And prabhataniya means what? It's that lamp's rays, light rays, which are going in all directions, we can see generally for a lamp. So prabhataniyascha ko vatasya prasaraha. What is its prasara? Or actually, it's you can say it's going all over the place, correct? Its movement, prasara, which is like the prabha or the light rays, and also antakaranam. If you say the antakarana, see, normally we say antakarana only moves. It goes out and takes the form of the object and all that. That is what we call as antakarana vritti also, correct? The vritti vyapti. So once we ask this question, one answer can be is antakaranam nitya dravyam jnanatmakam. So antakarana is jnanatmaka. It is of the nature of jnanam. It is also nitya dravyam. If they say that what, and also what tasya vishayena saha sambandha prasaraha, and that antakarana's contact with the vishaya is the sambandha we are talking about. If they say that, okay, antakaranam nitya dravyam jnanatmakam tasya vishayena saha sambandha prasaraha iti chet ma evam. If you say give this answer for the question, it cannot be in this manner. Why? Because antakarana is not a nitya dravya. Antakarana cannot be nityam. Why? Panchabhuta sattva amsha. samasti karyasya antakaranasya sadhitvena nityatva bhava. So antakarana is nothing but the karya of the sattva amsha of the panchamahabhutas. We say, correct? We have this Sriti Prakriya where the sattva amsha of the panchamahabhutas only become. That's why one name for antakarana itself is sattva. And we even talk about sattva shuddhi and all that. The word sattva itself is synonymously used for antakarana, and it is the sattva amsha, and it is the karya of the mahabhutas, and it has a beginning. Therefore, it cannot be nitya. Nacha sadhitve tasya vivaditavyam. Also, you cannot say, no, how can you say it has a beginning and all that? It is there in the Veda itself, tan mano kuruta iti shrutehe. So the manasaha sriti is talked about by the shruti itself. You cannot debate that. That you have to accept. Okay. And also what in his own mata, Prakriti Purusha Ishvaranam eva Tvanmatepi Nityatva Abhibhagamatiti. They also only talk about Prakriti Purusha and Ishvara as the Nitya. Antakarana is not Nitya for them also. Nacha Prakritihi iti Vachyam. Okay, next is what? No, it is not Antakarana. This Nitya Jnana Dravya is Prakriti, if you say. But you cannot say that. Why? Tasya anaditvepi jadatva. Okay, Prakriti is anadi. It can be taken as nitya, but it is not jnana. Antakaranam is jnana swarupa, but it is sadi. Prakriti is anadi, but it is jada. Ata evahi prakriti karye sarvatra jadya upalambaha. So that's why the prakriti karya, all the prakriti karya are only jada, and there is no jnana there. In fact, prakritehe jadatvam cha ikshatyadhikarana siddham. So in the Brahma Sutra also, in the Ikshater Nashaddam and all that, there is a Brahma Sutra is there. Ikshati Adhikaranam. There also it is very well established that Prakriti is Jada. In fact, that Prakriti Jada by itself cannot create anything is what is the main argument there. Tadaikshata, like that it is there. The Veda Vakya is Tadaikshata. And based on that, this Brahma Sutra is there. To show that Prakriti also is Brahma Adhinam alone. That's why even Bhagavan also in the Gita, he says that, correct? Mama Maya and all that he says. Prakritim Swamadhittaya Sambhavami and all he says. So Prakriti cannot operate independently. It is only, and also Mayantu Prakriti Vidya, Mayinam to Maheshwaram and all is there in Shvetashvatara Upanishad also. So Ishvara is the Mayavi, one who wields the Maya as a power. It is not independent. Okay. So this Prakriti is only Jada, Evam, Jadatvad Antakaranam na Jnana Dravyam. Also in this manner, Antakarana also is not, cannot be really Jnana. Why? Because Antakarana is Prakriti Karya. Therefore, even provisionally we may accept that Antakaranam because the sentiency or awareness manifests in the Antakarana. You may initially think that Antakarana itself is Jnana or Jnana Dravya, but even that we don't accept because Antakarana itself is only Prakriti Karya. Therefore, even that is not proper. Okay. Then what? Yadi prakritihi antakaranam va nityam jnanam na bhavet tarhi shrautasya satyam jnanam anantam brahmeti brahma lakshanasya prakritau tat karye antakarane cha ati vyaptihi syat. Also, the other problem is what? If prakriti or antakarana itself is nitya jnanam, okay, nitya jnanam bhavet, then what? Shruti is saying satyam jnanam anantam brahma. Shruti is giving that as lakshana, and that brahma lakshana will also now extend to Prakriti and Antakarana. It will become Ativyapti. That is also another problem then. So how are we going to address all these things? Once we say this, what? No, we also have Purusha, correct? Purusha is Brahman really. Nacha Purushaha iti vachyam. You cannot say no, Purusha is the Nitya Dravya. Purushasya Jnatritve Jnanatva Abhava iti tava mata. So in your mata, Brahman is the one which is known. So it is, it is not jnana. Okay. And it is the knower also you can say. Because they say the knower also can be known, but it is not. Jnanatvam cannot be there for Purusha. Purushasya Jnatritve Jnanatva Abhavaha iti tava mata. In your mata, Purusha is only a knower. And what about Ishvara? Napi Ishvaraha. Ishvarasya eva brahmatvat brahma jnanayoscha tvaya uktatvat bhedasya. So Ishvara is Brahman, but Brahman and Jnana are different for you. So what is this Nitya Jnana Dravyam you are talking about? That only you are not able to establish, he is saying. Whichever way we take in your system, we cannot accommodate this Nitya Jnana Dravya. You cannot place it anywhere. Okay. So what do we do? So he is saying, Tasmat Yan Nityam Jnana Dravyam Tad Durnurupameva Tava. So whatever Nitya Jnana Dravya you are talking about, you are not able to establish it at all. What is it really? Okay, now once we say this, what they come to the Swarupa Bhuta and Dharma Bhuta and all that. So having said this, now what he is saying, Nanu Jiva Ishvarayoho Swarupa Bhutam Jnanam Na Tadiha Anubhava Shabdena Vivakshyate Kintu Tayoho Dharma Bhutam Jnanam iti chet ma evam. So now he is saying, no, whatever we say as Anubhava is not the Swarupa Bhuta Jnanam, okay, but it is about the Anubhava Shabda only talks about Dharma Bhuta Jnanam. Dharma Bhuta Jnanam, whatever they say, is like the Vritti Jnanam, whatever we call as Vritti Jnanam. Okay. So the Dharma Bhuta Jnanam alone is Anubhava, they are saying. But Dharma Bhuta Jnanam cannot be Anubhava. It can be only Anubhavya, really speaking. Okay. Because it is Dharma. So that's what he is saying. Even if you say this, that by Anubhava, what we really mean is the Dharma Bhuta Jnanam, means it is not proper still. It cannot be in that manner. Why? Dharma Bhuta Jnanasya Gunatvena Dravyatva Bhava. So Dharma Bhuta Jnana cannot be Anubhava, and it can also not refer to Nitya Dravya, Jnana Dravya, because Dharma, as soon as you say, there is a Dharma Dharmi Bhava is there, and Dharma can only be a Guna, then it cannot be a Dravya. The Dharmi alone can be the Dravya. So Dharma Bhuta Jnanasya Gunatvena, it is Guna. So it being Guna, it cannot be a Dravya, Dravyatva Bhava. And Nitya Jnana Nandadi Gunakaha Ishvaraha itihi Tvaya Abhipakamaha. And also what you people say, this Nityatvam, Jnanatvam, Anandatvam and all that they say. So Ishvara is Ananta Kalyana Guna Sampannaha. And in the Kalyana Gunas, even this Nityatvam, Jnanatvam, Anandatvam are all only Gunas you say. And therefore what? Nitya Jnananandadi Gunakaha Ishvaraha. Ishvara is the one who has all these gunas. That is what you are accepting. That is your Siddhanta. Itihi Tvaya Abhibhagamaha. And therefore what? Nacha Jiveshwarayoho Swarupa Bhutat Guna Bhutacha Anya Deva Idam Dharma Bhutam Jnanakhyam Nitya Dravyam iti Vachyam. Okay, once we say this, what? You cannot say that no. There is Jiva and Ishvara have Swarupa Bhuta and Guna Bhuta Jnana. But this Nitya Jnana Dravyam is the third thing. It is Dharma Bhuta Nitya Jnana. Okay. So Dharma Bhutam Jnanakyam Nitya Dravyam. And it is separate, he is saying. But that also you can't say why. Apramanikatva Tat Kalpanasya, whatever you know you are imagining. This third thing is not supported by any, or it is not revealed by any pramana. It is your own kapola kalpita only. So this cannot be accepted by anybody. Therefore, what? Tasmat nityam jnanam brahmaiva. So what do we say? When we say nityam jnanam, that can only be Brahman. Yattu guna bhutam jnanam tad anityameva vritti jnanam hi tat. So whatever you say, guna bhuta jnana or dharma bhuta jnanam and all that, that is anitya. That cannot be nityam. In fact, that is the vritti jnanam. That is the vritti jnanam we talk about. Vritti jnanam hi tat. Atha yadi Ramanuja-Bhashya Gaurava Shuta Prakashika Vachanam na adriyate tarhi atitattvena janma nasha van यो अनुभवः वृत्ति ज्ञानमेव नित्य ज्ञानम यस्य च स्वयं प्रकाशत्व अभावात् अब्रह्मत्वमेव. Okay, now what some people can claim, no, Ramanuja never talked about any nitya dravya. This nitya dravya was only introduced by Shruta Prakashika, and therefore Ramanuja only we give weight, Gauravam, and Shruta Prakashika Vachana we can give up. We don't consider that. Na adriyate. Therefore, what? But even if you say that, okay, Ramanuja did not talk about Nitya Dravya, etc., but then he does talk about Atitatva and all that, correct? So, what is this Atitatva then? So, then Atitatvena, Janma Nashavan, Yo Anubhavaha, Vritti Jnanameva. So, even whatever Ramanuja is talking about, that something is born and then it is gone, then only you can even talk about the Atitatva of the Anubhava. So, the Anubhava itself has Janma and Nasha. Means that can only be vritti jnana. It cannot be nitya jnanam then. Correct? And that cannot have swayam prakashatva. Tasya cha swayam prakashatva abhava brahmattvameva. The vritti doesn't have any swayam prakashatvam. It is anitya also. It is abrahman. It is not brahman also. Tasya cha vritti jnanasya anubhavyattvena ananubhutitvam asmakam ishtameva. So this vritti jnana is also is something which is lighted up by the consciousness only, we say, correct? So this vritti itself is lighted up by the consciousness. It is anubhavya only for us. It is not anubhuti. It's ananubhutitvam also asmakam ishtam. It is desirous for us only because all vrittis are also lighted up by the Swarupa Chaitanyam only, we say. Therefore, that vritti, whatever Ramanuja is talking about as anubhava is really vritti jnanam only, and it cannot be swayam prakasha. And that vritti jnana or anubhava being ananubhuti also is ishta for us. It's not a problem for us. In fact, we are also saying the same thing. Once we say this, what? Nahi vayam vritti jnanam anubhutim brumaha. So now they are saying, no, we are not saying vritti jnana is anubhuti. Then what are you talking about? You only said ajna sisham iti pratitischa vritti jnana vishaya eva we are saying now. If you say that what? If you say we don't say vritti jnanam is anubhuti, then what are you talking about when you say that I knew that, I experienced it and all that? That is all vritti jnana vishaya only, correct? That pratiti, that whatever cognition you had before, which you are recollecting now, it is all vritti jnana vishaya. Okay. यद्वा घटम जानामि इति प्रत्ययः वर्तमान घट विषयः घट घटम अज्ञासिषम इति प्रत्ययस्तु अतीत घट विषयः. Okay, why do we even say that? Because see, this atitatvam and all cannot be there for anubhava or jnanam. Atitatvam is only for the jnana vishaya. That's what Vellanganda is clarifying here. Okay, one is, even if you say that this anubhava, I am, you can say that I had an anubhava in the past. Okay, but that experience also is tied to the object of experience, and that whatever the qualification of time or space time to an experience is actually the quality of the object of your experience. The experience itself is there all the time. The objects can come and go. That is the pratibodha viditam matam we say. So the other explanation which we can give is what yadva ghatam janami iti pratyayaha vartamana ghata vishayaha. Okay. Ghatam ajnasisham iti pratyayastu atita ghata vishayaha means what? This I know the part is really the vartamanatvam there is along with the ghata vishaya only. It is for the ghata. Similarly, I knew the part. There also the past time is associated with the part. Okay. So those are all the Vishaya, they are all having the Ashraya, the Vartamanatvam, Atitatvam and all the Ashraya is not there. The Anubhava is not the Ashraya. That's what you have to understand. They are all now resting in the locus for that Vartamanatvam, Atitatvam is the Vishaya itself, which is the part in this case, let us say, if you talk about a part experience. Therefore, how can you even say that this Atitatvam is there for the Jnana or Anubhava? There is no Atitatvam or Vartamanatvam for that. Okay. Okay, another point also is raising here. Yaduktam anubhutitva lakshanam Ramanujena tad asat. So whatever the anubhutitva lakshana which was given by Ramanuja, that certain things are known without any pramana, correct? Any dependence on anything else. That also is not, that cannot be the lakshana for anubhuti. If something is known without depending on any pramana like indriya, etc., that is anubhuti if you say, then what about sukha, etc.? Antakarana vritti itself is there. All the Antakarana vrittis like Sukha, Dukha, etc. are Sakshi Bhasya, we say directly, correct? They do not depend on any vritti or any kind of vritti. Okay, whether it is vritti born out of Indriyartha Sannikarsha or whether it is a vritti born out of some Mano Vyapara like Anumana. So he says if you simply give this Lakshana, that will have ativyapti into sukha dukha etc. So sukhadau ativyaptatvat tasya. So whatever this anubhutitva lakshana given by Ramanuja also is not correct. Why sukham hi vartamana dashayam swashrayam purusham prati swasattaya eva prakashate aprakashamana sukha satta bhava. Because sukha, at the time when you experience that sukha, and swashrayam purusha, I am the one who is having that sukha also, correct? Both are revealed, and that therefore what, that sukha itself will now, you can say as sukha is anubhuti, like that you have to say, but it is really anubhuti vishaya, and there is no sukha when you are not having the anubhava also, correct? Aprakashamana sukha satta abhava. If sukha is not cognized, then there is no sukha. Sukha is there only when it is only pratibhasika satta we accept for any antakarana vritti etc. So yada hi sukam jayate tada eva prakashate, and sukha also, whenever you have that sukha, you know it becomes evident to you, correct? It is known to you. It is not there when it is not evident. So it is only pratibhasika satta that everybody accepts. But once we say this, what they now complicate. They say nacha sukha antakarana vritya sukham prakashyate natu swasvattaya prakasate iti vachyam. So this sukha by its very existence, it lights up itself and the knower, you cannot say they are saying. Why? Sukha, sukha itself is a vritti in the mind, but it requires another vritti in the mind to know the sukha vritti. That is their contention. So sukhakara antakarana vritya sukham prakashyate. So the sukha itself is known because of another sukhakara vritti. Sukha also is antakarana vritti because there is nothing outside in the world called sukha. But there is also a sukritti, sukha akara vritti they are saying. So that sukha akara vritti only lights up the sukha and also lights up the and lights up the knower, and that is what we call Anubhava. The Sukha Vritti itself cannot be the Anubhava, therefore there is no Gati-Vyapti. Okay. So, Natu Swasattaya Prakashate. This is what if you say means na Vachyam, you can't say why. Sukha Rupantak Karana Parinamasya Eva Sukhatva. What do you mean by Sukha? Sukha itself is Sukha Rupa Antakarana Parinama. Correct? It is also a Vritti, Antakarana Vritti. If one Antakarana Vritti requires another Antakarana Vritti to know, then what about that Antakarana Vritti? Then you have to say another Antakarana Vritti, like that it will become Anavastha. So you cannot propose to know one Antakarana Vritti, I require another Antakarana Vritti. Like that, you cannot propose that. That's not correct. So Nata Antakaranasya Asti Vritti Dvayam Tatra Eka Kama Krodadi Rupa Anya Prajnana Rupa Chaiti Tata Cha Sukha Rupena Antakaranam Yada Parinamate Tada Sukhakara Vrittihi Api Jayate Tata Cha Vrittya Tat Sukham Bhasyate Ghatavati Vachyam. Okay, na Vachyam means what? Basically, what they are saying now is what? Antakaranasya Vritti Dvayam. There are two Vrittis are there in the Antakarana, like I already said. One is what? Kama Krodadi Rupa Antakarana Vritti, and the other one is the Vritti which knows this Kama Krodadi Rupa Vritti. Therefore, what? There is a Sukha Rupena Antakaranam Yada Parinamate Tada Sukhakara Vrittihi Api Jayate. So, whenever the mind takes the form of Sukha, then automatically another Manovritti also is born, which is of the form of that Sukha itself. And through that other Vritti only one knows, one has this Anubhava. That is what is called Anubhava really. So Tathacha Vrittya Tat Sukham Bhasyate. And that Sukha itself is lighted up by that other Sukhakara Vritti. Like even in the case of Ghata, etc., you cannot say that. Okay, why? Because Tata Sati Antakarana Parinamatva Avishesha Sukhamiva Vrittihi api Swam Anyam Va Na Prakashaye Eva Antakaranasya Jadatvena Tat Parinamasyapi Jadatva Avashyam Bhava. Okay, so what we say, so if you say that Sukha, for it to be known, even though it is Antakarana Vritti, it requires another Antakarana Vritti to be lighted up and known, etc. That will not work because that other Antakarana Vritti and the Sukha Antakarana Vritti, there is no difference between them, correct? Avisheshat, we say. They are all same. They are all Antakarana Vritti only. So, then the other Vritti also cannot light itself up and also light up the Sukhakara Vritti. They are all same. No Prakashaye Deva. In fact, that is correct. Antakarana Vritti cannot light up by itself the object and itself, etc. Why? Because Antakarana is Jada. That's what we are saying. Antakarana is Prakriti Karya, and that being Jada, then its Parinama also whatever, because the modification of the mind alone is Vritti, we say, or a state of mind. So mind itself moves from one state to another to another to another. That is the modification we are talking about. And that any state of the mind itself is also is Jada, because mind itself is Jada. That one has to accept. Nacha Antakaranam Ajadam iti vachyam. But once we say this, what? No, Antakarana cannot be called Jada. It is Ajada. It is Jnana. Means what? Tatha sati tat parinama bhutam sukam api ajadameva bhave. Then if you say that, then its parinama sukam also will be Ajada. And it does not require another vritti then. So whichever way he says, there is a problem. Okay. And also what? Tad upadana bhuta prakritihi api ajada eva bhave. And then what you will say? If Antakaranam is not Jadam, then Antakaranam itself is made up of Prakriti. Trigунatmika Prakriti. That Prakriti also you have to say is Ajada. And that will then lead to some problems. Already we saw that Prakriti is established as Jada. Therefore, all these problems will come. Okay, we'll continue this in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasichyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Om.